are cute. However, they're descendants of wild predators. So be mindful of our native wildlife and keep your cat in your home. And protect your couch.
4ZZZ cares about our communities.
Radical Radio Collective.
Good afternoon, listeners. You're tuned into 4ZZZ 102.1 FM. This is Eco Radio, Australia's longest running peace and environment radio show, probably. We're taking over your middle of the day, middle of the week airwaves. My name is Dave. My pronouns are he, him. No Zack today, but let's keep it going anyways. I want to start off by acknowledging and paying my respects to the custodians on the country in which we broadcast. We're located in the city of Mungingin on Turrbal Yugga and Yugambal land. I also want to acknowledge and pay my respects to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people who are listening in today. Our radio waves reach Cubby Cubby and Unibara country in the north, Waka Waka country in the west. In the east we pay our respects to the Quandamooka people, and down south we reach the Commonwealth, the Garrigwal, Mununjali, Wandjarrabara, Yugambeh and Bundjalung countries. Thank you to No Idea for all the fantastic ideas. I thought that was really interesting about the last earthquake in southeast Queensland happened in 1975. That's the same year that 4ZZZ started. And this earthquake happened during our 50th Radiothon birthday. The Earth is craving to subscribe to 4ZZZ, and you can too if you go to 4zzz.org.au/support. You can be like the Earth and get a subscription. We are out of Radiothon, but we're in a tailwind section where you can still win prizes, including the Triffid Golden Ticket, the 5-Star Cinemas Golden Ticket, the Netherworld Games Cabinet and Treasure Trove, and the Princess Theatre Golden Ticket. So a lot of gold there that will still be up in the running to win. Just head to 4zzz.org.au/support. Today on the show, we have Northern Rivers Friends of Palestine member Subhi Awad, and we will be talking about how to pressure your local council to divest from the ongoing genocide in Gaza. But to kick everything off, I want to start by playing a song. This is one of my favourite songs from the Drones. The Drones formed the band now Tropical F-Storm, and they will be playing at the Z50 gig happening in Roma Street Parklands. But this is one of my favourites from their previous band, the Drones, and this is Oh My. You're listening to 4ZZZ. This is Eco Radio.
Your weekly dose of science on 4ZZZ is now available as a podcast.
I learned that you can hear the difference between different water temperatures when they're poured. I'm going to pour one after the other into a different glass, and you have to tell me which one is which temperature. I've got a hot and a cold. Right, here's the first one. Any thoughts?
Yeah, I'm saying cold.
It sounds cool, yeah.
Yeah? Okay. Here's the second one. Well played.
Shut up.
Search No Idea 4ZZZ on your favourite podcasting app. That's spelled KNOW, like No Idea. It's a visual pun on an audio platform. I don't know why we did it.
On the line now, I have Subhi Awad. Subhi Awad is a Northern Rivers Friend of Palestine member and campaigner to bring an ethical procurement policy to the Byron Shire Council. Subhi, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Dave.
Yeah, my pleasure. So can you start off by telling us what is an ethical procurement policy?
Yeah, simply it's just a check, a safety policy that means that council money can't be spent with companies that are complicit in grave human rights abuses. It's just another layer of good governance, we don't spend money with tobacco companies or, environmental destruction. So it's just another level of good governance built into council financial decision making.
Okay, and do you know if the Byron Shire rates are currently going towards Israel or the ongoing genocide?
Yes. Well, unfortunately, yes. There are companies that council does do business with that are on the lists. And, you know, some of those are really easy to move away from. Some are not so easy. And so, you know, there are simple things like Caterpillar and Airbnb, Booking.com, stuff like that that are easy to get away with from. Those companies help the destruction of Palestinian towns, villages, homes, and the, you know, Israeli settlers steal Palestinian homes, and then Airbnb put it on Airbnb and things, and refuse to exclude those companies. So there are things that council uses, and we'd just love them to move away from those things.
Yeah. So I found an article that Glencore supplies all of the coal for Israel. Glencore is Australia's largest coal producer with 13 mining operations across New South Wales and Queensland. How do residents go about getting their council to divest from companies so large like Glencore?
Well, I mean, at the moment, what we're talking about is this sort of one step removed, the easy ones to deal with, you know? And then further down the line, we can move on to those that are sort of 2 steps removed. Companies, mining companies, you know, they're so inbuilt into Australia's infrastructure, aren't they? So, you know, we've got incredible people like Rising Tide pressuring those, and we're certainly helping with that. But in terms of what councils need to do, it's really more about that sort of front-end consumer-basing decisions that they can make. So, you know, like not buying from this person, just buying from that person instead, rather than, you know, investments that are then 2 layers removed, if you see what I mean. That's a very difficult thing for councils to achieve, and takes a lot of work. And you know, council staff aren't always, you know, wanting to do incredible amounts of work, so we have to go to them and give them the answers with things like coal. Yeah.
Okay, well, you were also integral in demanding that the Byron Shire Council demand a ceasefire. These are examples of starting small in your local area, your local government, and hopefully growing larger. Can you take me through the nuts and bolts of how people can go about doing this for their own councils, whether it's regional or big city?
Yeah, I think that, you know, that your first step is to talk to the councillors. You know, and we certainly did that with the We Vote for Palestine campaign, which was about local elections. So we know that there are a lot of councillors out there who are very supportive, and the first thing to do is find a supportive councillor who's willing to put the motion in, and someone willing to second it. And then, you know, we can certainly help your group with, you know, writing the motion, the infrastructure, petitions, stuff like that. So there's lots of help that we can give. But really, it's a matter of finding a councillor that's willing to go for it, really, and contacting us, so we can certainly help you.
Right, okay. So people will have to find a councillor sympathetic to put forward that motion. They can't simply sign a petition just at the grassroots level for residents.
No, you can put something in yourself.
Okay.
But you really have a much better chance if you can find a councillor that's willing to work with you.
Okay. All right. Well, what do you hope to see from these council level motions?
Well, it really does signal best practice in ethical procurement and good governance for the other businesses around. You know, when they see councils, festivals, you know, we've got great divestment in festivals and music events. And when people see that, businesses see that, they know that the right thing to do is to follow this best practice. And so we're hoping it has a knock-on effect. You know, if council comes together and says, this is the best thing to do, then perhaps, you know, your business should follow that. And it's a really easy thing to do. It's literally just check your suppliers against the list. And if you find one that's on the list, just move to another supplier. It's so simple.
Yeah, okay. So how do councils go about finding out if their money is going to Israel? Where do people find that list?
Well, so the lists are from the United Nations, and many of the companies actually are not from Israel. You know, the biggest targets are actually multinational companies or companies from other places. So, of course, there are Israeli companies, but yes, generally the Francesco Albanese, the Special Rapporteur, has produced a list, and there's another UN list, and so we just combined those two lists and produced, you know, a very authoritative list of things from you know, the United Nations. It's hard to argue against.
Yeah. You did mention before about the music festivals. This is another one of your very impressive accomplishments. You were the first ever, you've made the first ever ethical contract for music festivals. How did that come about, and how successful has it been?
It's been great, and it's the first of many. We're hoping more festivals will follow, but it's very simple. It's a statement for artists and vendors to sign, basically saying, you know, they don't support racism, they do support, you know, First Nations rights, and they also don't align with, you know, grave human rights abuses, you know, like the genocide in Gaza, and so, you know, it feels safe for people to go to a concert or people knowing that, you know, the festival stands for you know, human rights and against racism. I think people associate music with and safety with sort of quite high, you know, social values. I think, you know, no one wants to dance under a banner of genocide or to a band that is racist or something, like, and I think that's good governance also in festivals.
Yeah. So Tony Burke recently came out making a statement against Benjamin Netanyahu, saying strength is not measured on how many people you can blow up or how many children you can leave hungry. As someone who's been a Palestinian, well, you are Palestinian, and advocating for an end to genocide for many years, are you seeing a tide turn for support, or is this another just a spike and then there might be a dip in support again later?
We've seen a massive tide change from everyday people all the way through the layers. I mean, we were at the markets the other, a couple of days ago, asking people to sign the petition about the council motion. And the support was absolutely overwhelming. I mean, you know, people were queuing up to sign. They were like, yeah, of course, no brainer. You know, there are polls that show, you know, 75% of Australians view Israel unfavorably and you know, a very high number want action to be taken, not just words. And then you see that mass mobilization at Sydney, on the Sydney Bridge with 300,000 people. And I think that is what's causing politicians to speak differently. I think that, you know, somebody put it as like, you know, electorally, you know, significant numbers. And I think people have underestimated this movement. It's one of the largest global, you know, mass protest movements the world has ever seen. And people thought it would go away, but actually it's getting stronger and stronger. And you know, it's almost an unstoppable force now, and I think politicians are having to ride that tidal wave of change. And I think we're seeing that rather than genuine efforts, you know, moral efforts to make the situation better. I think they're just playing the PR game differently, unfortunately.
Yeah, you might be right. It's a PR matter overall. Thank you, Subhi, for joining us. How can people get in touch and get their own petitions going?
Yeah, like I said, we do have the infrastructure, so we can help with things like that. Our email address is Northern Rivers, then the number 4, and then Palestine. And ironically, it's at gmail.com.
Right,
so, yeah. And some targets are pressure targets and other targets are boycott targets, and Google is a pressure target. So, Northern Rivers 4 Palestine@gmail.com. You can catch me there or the group there. And yeah, we'd love to help out. Our council motion is on the 28th of August, so coming up soon. And any time after that, we'll have a bit more time to help everybody else. We'll have a toolkit, we'll have example videos, we'll have a whole campaign for you, and we'll be able to help everybody out.
Yeah, that is actually quite an interesting problem. Your email is with Gmail, obviously not an ethical company in this light. Is it ever possible to get 100% ethical company?
Yes, and there are two sort of things to this. First is the reason for divestment is to give people their human rights. You know, we do things for a reason. The goal is to reduce suffering, to give people human rights. And so we use tools that help us achieve that goal. We don't shoot ourselves in the foot. Like a car is bad for the environment, but environmentalists still use a car because you need to use the car to help the environment, right, when you're an environmentalist. And so it is with tech. You know, our movement needs to use certain tech to help our goal of liberating people, right? And so we don't shoot ourselves in the foot by not using the tech, right? But we do pressure those companies to change what they're doing. And that's something council will also do, write letters. If we find another supplier, we'll view them more favourably than you. We're really disappointed in your company. So that's pressure, right? And so we boycott. We don't boycott the things that hurt our movement because that doesn't make sense, right? Otherwise, environmentalists would have to live in a forest and be off grid all the time, and that doesn't make sense either, right? Yeah. So yeah, there's that, and so some targets are pressure, and we can use them, and it is possible to be free of things, but also we don't have to be sort of purists about it, right? Like there's a sort of less return after a while with the more effort you put in, and perhaps we don't need to be sort of purists. We need to just do the right thing in the right way when we can, and then keep building from there. Yeah, there's a balance, I guess, that is to be found. There is, and also council have a lot to do. We don't need to make this an impossible task for them. Here's a list of suppliers. Please don't do business with them. These are pressure targets. These are boycott targets. Let's make it easy for them and sort of move forward and do the next project. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks so much, Subhi, for joining me. I really appreciate your time, David. Zack, thanks for having me on the show. Yeah, absolutely. We're going to go to a song now. This is Rafif Ziada with Pillow. I've been chatting with Subhi Awad, Northern Rivers Friend of Palestine member and campaigner to bring an ethical procurement policy to Byron Shire Council. This is Eco Radio.
You're listening to Eco Radio on 4ZZZ 102.1 FM. Everything's connected.
And we got some texts in. Stacey texted in saying that we probably shouldn't use ethical as these terms aren't wholly ethical. It would be more accurate to say more ethical. I think that's an interesting point. I also got a text in from Marky. Hey, Marky, yes, I am dry, and I'm sorry that you're saturated working in Whites Hill Reserve, doing some good work in the country there, working on the bush, getting rid of balloon vine, Cardiospermum grandiflorum. Not a easy weed to crawl through, but it is nice that you got to see a wedge-leaf tuckaroo and the Gossia goniculata, one of the angle-stem myrtles. It is a beautiful shrub, that wedge-leaved tuckaroo, and I'm glad you could see one. Marky is a long-time texter-innerer, which is something that you can do if you become a subscriber. Actually, you can text in whenever you want on 0420626733. It just won't turn up with a name, and I won't know who I'm talking to, and the conversation might be a bit more one-sided with you texting in and me not replying. But it is still the tailwind of Radiothon. Radiothon was our last week 10-day subscriber drive where we put in a lot of effort to showcase what 4ZZZ is, what it has been, what it can be for our community here in Mungingin. So if you want to be a supporter of community voices, there's not a lot of AI on our radio. Unfortunately, some people are using it for stings and things, but not here on Eco Radio. I tell you what, we don't do artificial intelligence. We do organic stupidity. Oh, okay. Maybe that's not as good, but it's all we got here on Eco Radio. And if you subscribe, you can go in the running to still win golden tickets to the Trifford or 5-Star Cinemas. I know that one is a big one for subscribers. We'll have a good, great to go to a movie all year round with a mate, with a friend of yours. You can get go in the running to win the Netherworld Games cabinet and treasure trove. That's also up for grabs. But even if you don't win prizes, you can always get the warm inner glow from being a subscriber and a supporter to local, hyper-local actually, community media. No one tells us what to do here on 4ZZZ, and that is obviously evident in my unqualified ramblings of organic stupidity. But it's going to be a great year for gigs here in Mungingin, in Brisbane, in southeast Queensland, because it is our 50th birthday, and we started 4ZZZ in Peak City, and currently this year we're in Gig City, because there are so many great reasons to become a subscriber. Either you can go to the Z50 show, which is going to have the Saints and Regurgitator, Full Flower Moon Band, Butterfingers, just like so many great bands. I'm really pumped for that one. So if you become a subscriber, you can get discounts to all the gigs, and you can just be a supporter of 4ZZZ. I know times are tough, but yeah, it's time we have to come together. And like I have today, Marky has requested a song. He's requested Pink Floyd, Have a Cigar, and I imagine this is in commemoration of Ronnie Rondell, who was the stuntman who set himself on fire for that iconic Pink Floyd album cover of two men shaking hands, one is on fire. So this one goes out to Marky. Thanks for the text in, everyone. And this is Pink Floyd, Have a Cigar. You're listening to 4ZZZ Eco Radio. But I'm glad that you are here on 4ZZZ Eco Radio. My name is Dave, my pronouns are he, him, and I am always organic and stupid. That's my koala call to show how organic and stupid I am. Not AI here, not artificial or intelligent, organic and stupid. We just heard then from People Mover with Cane Trash, and before that was Pink Floyd with Have a Cigar. That was a request by Marky, who I'm sure was sending that in commemoration of Ronnie Rondell, the stuntman who set himself on fire for the Pink Floyd album cover where a man on fire is shaking hand with a man who is not. That was Have a Cigar by Pink Floyd. That's all I've got time for. There is one thing that I like to do at the end of every episode, and that's do a little roundup of some of the environmental and peace volunteering opportunities that happen in southeast Queensland this week. And to start things off, we're going to play the theme tune. It's a Bushcare Roundup. They've been pulling out weeds and then they put in trees. It's a Bushcare Roundup. That's another example of organically stupid. That is my theme song for the Bushcare Roundup. No AI used in that, that's for sure. Happening on Friday, the 22nd of August. This is happening at 5:30. You can go to the Life Inside Hollow. This is a Nocturnal survey happening at Benowa. That's all I've got for Friday. On Saturday, however, there's a few things you can do. At 8 o'clock, you can go to Glindemann Park for their Bushcare Working Bee. That's Glindemann Park in Holland Park West. At 10 o'clock, you can go to the Brisbane West Eco Fest. If nothing else than just so that you can say Brisbane West Eco Fest. That's happening at the Gap State High School. At 2 o'clock on Saturday, you can go to the Bushcare Working Bee at 43 Nicholson Street in Greenslopes. And at 2 o'clock on Saturday, also you can go to the Whites Hill Reserve Bird Walk. That's Whites Hill Reserve, Camp Hill. That's where Marky is right now, doing some bird watching, I hope, and seeing some maybe king parrots. I know there are a few around there. On Sunday, the 24th of August, you can go at 8 o'clock to the Merri Park Bushcare Working Bee. That's Merri Park in Chapel Hill. At 8 o'clock, you can also go to the Bushcare Working Bee at 100 Jean Street in Grange. 9 o'clock, you can go to the Bushcare Working Bee on Taringa Parade in Moore Park, Indooroopilly. And then at 1 o'clock, there's the nationwide March for Palestine. That's starting at Raymond Park in Kangaroo Point. And finishing up the Bushcare Roundup is Tuesday, the 26th at 3:30. You can go to the Sea Slug Survey in the Rocky Shores. That's meeting at John Laws Park in Burleigh Heads. And that is a fantastic way to spend an afternoon, going around with experts and having a look in little nooks and crannies, trying to find a little sea slug, a little nudibranch, is the technical or scientific term, because they have naked gills. That's that's funny. But that's everything I've got for you today. Thank you so much for listening in. Stick around for the coolest cat on radio, Jordan, with Sonic Aliens. I actually picked Sonic Aliens as my favourite show this year. I think Jordan's just knocking it out of the park with fantastic interviews, the coolest bands that I've never heard of, some of the biggest acts that are too cool for a little organic stupid guy like me. Sonic Aliens is coming up next, and I'm going to go out with a track that I played a couple of weeks ago. We actually played the exclusive launch of. This is 50 Years of Zed, in parentheses, and We're Not Dead. This is by the Randomised Experience. And let's go out with that. You've been listening to 4ZZZ. I've been Dave here on Eco Radio.